Lent, we repeat pretty much the same cycle of readings. And so it's already familiar that the story of Jonah be read always at the beginning of Lent. And, well, just as every Lent we've got the same reading, every Lent I say the same thing also. I'm always reminded that this is a period, Lent, overall of preparation. We hear about 40 days, and that number 40 means it's a biblical sign, a biblical symbol of preparation. 40 years in the desert to prepare one to find, to enter the promised land. We hear 40 again in here in the first reading. It's a biblical number. 40 days more and Nineveh shall be destroyed. 40 days more the Lord gives the Ninevites before he condemns them. Those 40 days is a time of preparation, or rather a time of conversion for the Ninevites. And that's really what we're called to do every Lent. It's a time of preparation. And how do we prepare? By converting ourselves. Conversion, to turn with the Lord, to turn to the Lord who turns us to him. The other day in the Latin class at the seminary, we finished off with this word. It was one of the vocabulary terms. Verto, vertere. It's a Latin word for turn. And you can add a bunch of prefixes to it. Adverto, to turn towards, or advert, and advertencia, for example. It directs your attention to something, makes your head turn to something. There's the other word of convert, convertere, and we have it, conversion, change. But let's look at the word closely. I always said our words mean things. Vertere means to turn, con means with, turn with. Turn with what? And so when we convert, in the Christian sense, what are we really saying? We're turning with someone. Who are we turning with? Christ. Christ who turns us from our course, from our life, and points us to the Father, to heaven, or to himself. It's a turning with Christ. It's not just a random turn. It's not a random course correction that we do. But it's a turning with someone. And we don't do it alone. We don't do it on our own authority or by our own whim. No. God is the one who starts to turn us around. If we let him. We can also resist. We could also turn that around to almost a 180 the wrong way. There's another prefix you can add to vertere, to turn. Pervertere. In English we get the word pervert. And when something's perverted, what is it? The word per, or the prefix per, or another homily that I've repeated many times, means thorough. So when you put it in front of the verb to do, facere, per facere, perfectus, something thoroughly done. So when you put per, which means thorough in Latin, before the verb vertere, you get the word pervertere, perversión. ¿Y qué es una perversión? When something's totally flipped around the wrong way. We might hear a perversion of justice, when justice renders injustice instead. And so on and so forth. We can think of different applications of that word. And so we hear this call to conversion, these 40 days of preparation, which are a call to convert. Convert with the Lord to the Lord. And that is what we do for these 40 days. Another thing that comes out, and always with the story of Jonah, we have to, repeat it, I guess, every year. What is going on with Jonah? Jonah, who prophesizes the destruction of Nineveh, because yes, it was a wicked city, and the people were not the best. In fact, they were the enemies, perhaps, of Jonah and the Israelites. And so Jonah, perhaps, shows what the Germans would call Schadenfreude, a certain delight in the misfortune of the others. Jonah knows that these people will be condemned, and he takes delight in announcing their condemnation. 40 more days and you'll be destroyed. And I get the front row seat to watch it. And when we hear the story of Jonah throughout this chapter, we remember again that Jonah at the end sits down to watch the destruction. He's already preached all he can. He's already sure that people were going to ignore his preaching as well. Let me see the show. Let me see the fruits of my work. And the Lord withholds his hand from Nineveh. Why? Because the people converted. They changed. And he seems indignant at it. He couldn't take the delight in their destruction and forgets to rejoice in their conversion. And so we're reminded that the Lord's call to conversion is not a delight in watching us fail, is not a delight in trying to judge us and condemn us. No. It is a delight in knowing that if we turn with him, we'll be with him and we'll be saved, as the Ninevites were. And so in our time of conversion, and even in our collaboration with this conversion and how we help others convert to the Lord, let us remember that humility, the hard lesson that Jonah himself learned, which Christ quotes in the gospel. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.